Debbie, I would know you as a liberal lefty because, and here's me, a conservative righty. But you have struck on a project which is very dear to my heart and is absolutely critical, I think, to the future of New Zealand as a society and as a civilization. But before I do talk about that with you, a little bit about you. You're in your early 50s from what I can work out.
Thank you for hearing that.
Well, no, you've got it down here. You're told everybody you were born in 1972, Debbie, so I'm allowed to use your name, aren't I?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. You're a fifth-generation New Zealander. You came out here, earlier than my ancestors arrived here. Your first ancestor arrived on board the Tyne in 1841, and you are now actually one of New Zealand's leading authors. In particular, you are a leading child author in this country. You've won a number of children and young adult awards for both fiction and, it looks like, non-fiction as well. Congratulations to you. So that is your full-time job as an author. There's no question that your politics would be left of centre, and I think there's no shame in that, obviously. But what I'm saying is that that's your background. But you have a passion. And the reason I've asked you on the show is because in the wake of these dreadful coronial inquiries and their findings, you've engaged in a project which I think almost makes you unique. And that is that you've looked at New Zealand's non-accidental child deaths, and you've gone right back. I came across your piece. You've gone right back to 1841, and then the 430 murders, essentially, that have happened to New Zealand children since that time. Can you tell me why you got involved in this project?
Well, I think like most New Zealanders, every time there's a child death reported, we get angry, but we also feel hopeless. There's nothing we can do, and this was a small thing that I could do, is actually start recording them. So hopefully that data can be used by agencies to actually see. There's a lot of names on this list, and this is the tip of the iceberg, I feel.
Well, these are the ones that you've been able to personally research, right? So you might not have all of them, but these are the ones that have been made publicly available through literature or news sources.
Yes, absolutely. Now that we have things like Papers Past, you can go and do a few more historical ones, but they can be hard to find.
In your estimation, has New Zealand always had a child killing problem, or has it got worse in the 21st century? I think it has got worse. There's always been a problem historically, but it has got worse when you introduce things like methamphetamine into the mix and easier access to alcohol, gambling, all these sorts of problems we have, and the disparity between the rich and the poor in our society. Well, that's something that you're very strong on, and I'll come to that in a second. But you've gone back, the very first murder that you record, since the Treaty of Waitangi anyhow, is November the 20th, 1841, where three, it looks like, I'm just looking at them, Eliza Brynd, Askina Robertson, William Robertson, were killed by Makatu Whare Totara. Now, I don't know if that was part of a terrorist attack, or as we call it now, or it was somebody who completely lost their mind. They were axed to death. So those first three ones that are recorded, what were the circumstances of those?
I think Makatu, from what I've researched, was about 16 years of age and worked on the family farm. And I don't think he was treated well. He was abused also, so he took his revenge in that way, killing the children, unfortunately. Yes, it's not good. It's not a nice story. None of them are nice stories. They're all horrible. None
of them are nice stories. There's no nice story of child murder. He was hanged for his particular actions, and there are a number of those multiple murders, obviously, that you've noted as well. But your thesis is slightly different. You say that, and it's a thesis I don't disagree with. Remember, I'm a conservative. that you're saying that it got all very much worse with Rogernomics in the 1980s.
Yes. I think when there is such a disparity between the rich and the poor, and you've got people having to work 3 jobs to feed their kids, to me that's a huge issue. We haven't kept pace with inflation. Sorry, I'm probably not agreeing with your politics, because I would say that CEOs who earn more than 5 times the lowest paid person in the organisation, I think that's wrong.
Oh, listen, you're not going to get it. I'm a conservative. Plenty of conservatives believe that public sector heads are well overpaid and are not accountable for the mistakes that they make or their agencies, Aranga Tamariki being top of my list.
Yes, and I've been reading the reports the last couple of days about the case that you've been discussing, and that is definitely needs to be some accountability there.
But going back to it, do you think that it's mostly socioeconomic reasons why people murder children, or there are a number of murdered children in New Zealand?
Not in all cases, no. And I've wrestled with this one. What is it? Is there something missing in people's psyche? Is it no support? Is there not enough parenting courses? And there's much greater minds than mine thinking about these issues. There's no easy answer, I think. A lot of them are very different. There's murders from households you wouldn't think that would come from. Yes, not sure what to say there, Michael, sorry.
Well, when you say other minds are thinking this, and you were being self-deprecating there, but at the end of the day, are there any minds at all that you've come across in the gathering of these statistics? Because I'm seeing bugger all policy responses coming from central government on this matter.
Absolutely, totally agree. There's not enough being done at all. There needs to be mandatory reporting, training, courses available for people to take about how to watch for the signs of child abuse. Our society has changed a wee bit in that we're encouraged to report if you see someone with bruises all over their face that you might be a beaten, an abused woman. You're encouraged to report that, but doesn't seem to be the same encouragement around children. I'm not sure why.
Yes, and there seems to be, again, a lack of consequence. I'm thinking particularly of the little boy Malachi. You'll remember him, who his bruises were picked up at a early childcare centre, and they found no necessity to go and report that to the authorities. But I guess the other aspect of that, though, too, I'd be asking you, Debbie, is even when the reports are coming in, it would appear that there is an institutional failure from child and young families, or its most recent manifestation, Aranga Tamariki, yeah?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's not enough training, not enough staff. I'm not sure what the answer is there, but there definitely needs to be a lot more information. I'm kind of sick of reports and reviews and
same.
Nothing being done.
Yeah. We're all sick of the coronial inquiries and the hand-wringing and the we're sorries and yes, we stuffed up on that one, and then nothing actually changes. I raised the issue, and I'd be interested in your response to the ethnicity and the culture of particularly probably the child deaths over the last 30 years in particular. I can only go back that far. You've gone back much further than I. Have Maori always disproportionately featured in these statistics, or is this a more recent phenomena?
Oh, I think more recent. I mean, Māori have a history of being wonderful parents before colonialisation. So I think the failures, the systematic failures that we've got, it needs much deeper I'm not going to say review because I'm sick of reviews, but it needs a lot of work and a lot of money needs to be. We want to save our children. These are children who are dying. Surely that's worth.
But there's also a reluctance, isn't there, for Aranga Tamariki to remove children now from risks of situations because of the criticism or the implicit criticism that they are taking children away from their families and whānau.
Possibly, but there's always a wider whānau. There is somebody within that whānau that would take that child on or help that family if they're struggling. I think as a society we're not helping each other enough. talking to each other enough, knowing our neighbours, knowing who we can help.